live. Welcome to Live Ascension. This is where we talk about all things consciousness, understanding consciousness. Consciousness is everything when it comes to evolution and self-empowerment, to move into higher degrees of self-design and self-storyboarding, all those things that we're now talking about now, because we're reclaiming our power. We're reclaiming who we are in this divine experience of creational evolution. We are multidimensional beings, multi-vibrational beings. This is where we talk about everything quantum, everything godly that we are, that we've always been, allowing us to redesign and remake, if we will, our social experiences, what it looks like from here on out. And those of us that have always loved to be the creative genius that we have been, and understanding what that looks like in a 5D experience, and just coming into new creativities and new designs of all that is, bringing it to a new planet vibration. Grids are being updated all the time. Our omnipresent is being updated. And the omnipresent is basically just the field of energy that we all sit within. And that field of energy includes the outer experience, the environments, because all aspects of living life need an environment to sit within. That's just a basic of life in and of itself, science in and of itself. And what do you exist within? What is going on within you? The environment within you, the environment without. And remembering that we've been so entrained to becoming part of our outer environment. But what we're here to do is ignite new environments. And that is from the within and so without. It's kind of the backwards way of what we've been taught, and a lot of the sciences have been molded after old science, ideals and notions. So we're wanting to really change things up, and that we do have the power to alter environments. We do have the power to alter science. That power is called consciousness, and in what consciousness is allowing ourselves to be harmonized and infused, to be as the light of the Holy Creator, to be as the light of our metatronic light, to be as the light of our higher selves, to be as the light of our spirited selves and our soul selves. So to become soulful and to become spirited, we are understanding now that we are spirit. It is a spiritual journey. It's always been a spiritual journey. And we're merely just moving around this spiritual journey in a physical package. And this physical package is made of matter and cells and blood and all of these things that make up the systems within systems that we are, the micro within macro. And why we do have systems within our bodies that help us understand how we process light, how we process our reality, the excretion system, the respiratory system, all of these things are systems within systems, which is holographic within us, within the greater system of Source Creator. We are fragments of the Source Creator. We are fractals of the Source Creator. We are like a dodecahedron, and it's up to us to bring wholeness and to bring healing to those soul fragments. Our soul fragments need our adherence. It needs our time. It needs our design. It needs our space where we create practice in relationship. And if you go back to some of my ascension videos a couple of years ago, the galactic federations and the teams of the ascension councils and galactics, what are they called? Ambassadors, preparing humanity for ascension, preparing humanity for first contact. They were preparing us a couple years ago, and why we talked about through all my video titles, I think, you'll recognize the word relationship was in our titles quite a bit. Because we're renewing our relationship with who we are, what we exist within, and what's going on within us. We have to build that relationship of what's within us, the systems that are within us, the blood that is within us, the love and the heart and the chakras that are within us. Understanding the relationship on how the inner relates and reflects to the outer, and we're actually manifesting that outer from what is within. That's why the healing process is everything. When you focus that intention and that importance of healing, that is creating that emulation, which is just your quantum vibration, your quantum flow, your quantum heartbeat, the vibration of all that you are, and how it emulates to all that is and what is returning back to you. And so those are all of those minutia experiences that is just the process of being a being in an environment experience, in a planetary experience, and just paying greater awareness to having a mindfulness about your vibration, having a mindfulness about what is truly going on within you, tap into it. What's truly going on within you, how do you feel? What are you sensing? Tap into it. Because these are when you're turning and you're becoming the multidimensional vibrational being that you are, and you can begin healing those aspects of self that need to be healed and looked at and faced. And then, therefore, you're presenting a much more rarefied, more balanced, harmonious experience to the outer. The omnipresent is the minutia and the substrates that is bedding all life, that's holding all life. So if those omnipresent energies are going to be supporting you in every way, they're going to have the codes, they're going to have the energy, they're going to have the love that will support you, can you bring that resonance to just know that you're alchemy in every day, accepting and being in compassion every day, to know that all is one and one is all, and then how are you moving through this experience to direct and intend a new reality experience? Because it is through your focus of your energy, it's your focus through your intentions, your focus through your ideas, and why it's always good to just tap in every now and then throughout your day, just to see where you're at with your vibration, just to see where you're at. Where's your focus? Where is your attention going? Is your attention going to love and positivity and goodwill? Is your intention going to healing your body and bringing harmonious thought patterns to your body? All of these things are just the churning of alchemy that you're giving yourself the willingness to move through and really practice with patience and compassion. So just allowing yourself to cultivate better self-day, throughout your day, self-care practices and mindfulness. And that mindfulness is just being present. That's all mindfulness really means, is being present within your divine sacred heart. How am I feeling right now? Do I need to spend more time grounding? Do I need to just take a break and just have more breath? And that does absolutely affect how your body and how your health and your wellness presents itself to the world. Are you looking vibrant? Are you feeling vibrant and youthful? Because you're sending yourself that mindfulness and those affirmations within. I am a youthful, mindful being, and I'm walking forward in my own presence. And all you need is that requirement and that turning in and that calling in of your own mindfulness. And then once you feel that way about you, and you feel that confidence about you, and you feel that, this is really who I am at a genuine level. I don't want to pretend to be like anybody else, and I can absolutely have neutral states of energy when I'm around other people, but it's still not going to change who I am and how I present myself or express myself. And the 3 E's of how a soul moves in its notion of exploration and expression and experience, and that becomes who you are as a template of evolution. Are you easily teachable, or are you stuck in your ways? And why are you stuck in your ways? How can you let go of that? Usually if people are really stuck in their ways, or stubborn, if you will, it's because it's all based on fear. And so, again, part of the ascension process that many of us have found out the last couple of years is, how teachable are you? How ready are you to come out to that higher vibrational, unconditional loving experience, to be unconditionally loving? And really let go of those things that have held you in lack and disrepair, because there's a lot of woundings that keep you holding in a pattern of, putting up a lot of defenses, or putting up a lot of things that really you need vulnerability to break that down and alchemize those wounds at a very deep level. And so everything from here on out is, you're going to become a master of how you like to heal, of how you're choosing to heal your experiences through time and space, if you will, through 3D to 5D. Every human is responsible for dealing with 51% of their woundings, divine feminine, divine masculine. In the cycle of now, you're going to be bringing up those energies that are showing you in every moment that, yes, you are a multidimensional being. You're physical, you're mental, you're emotional, you're spiritual, you're psychological, and you do understand energy at a certain level. So the more that you understand these energy vibrations of how you're becoming a new version, how you're alchemizing all that you are, and you're paying attention to the 3 E's are so important to the health of your soul. The 3 E's are so important to the evolution of your soul. The 3 E's are so important to how you hold yourself as a divine being, and what is your higher order, what is your higher state of becoming and being. And you can actually speak on your behalf without having anybody come in and try and be a parent to you, or try and be a codependent partner to you, or speak over you or of you. So these all, the 3 E's equaling the 4th E of your evolution, you become an absolute commander of who you are, because you don't need anybody outside of you to handle. You don't need anybody outside of you to tell you what to do or where to go, how much of your day will be this and how much of your day will be that. You're the one that is handling and being in commandmentship of your life. You don't need anything outside of you. And that is becoming comfortable with altering the rules and the states of truths and knowledges that we were all told in church and state as we were growing up, because we need to shift and change it to a higher vibrational state of being. We need to infuse higher vibrational consciousness. So consciousness is the idea, and this is where everybody's had problems, but it doesn't need to be. We can state it through every one of our videos and practice it as affirmations. Consciousness is just your state of being, of wherever you're at in the dodecahedron of whoever you are right now, and the percentage of your DNA that has been awakened right now, and all that you have moved through right now. But you're coming to a today's state of awareness, and in your acceptance, allowance, and your acknowledgement of yourself, the 3 A's, the alchemy is always important to shift you. This is how you shift timelines. This is how you shift who you are. This is how you shift into a healthy body. This is how you shift into greater love. This is how you shift into being aligned for evolutionary eternal life. The 3 A's are so important to the 4th A, which is alchemy. This version of you as the dodecahedron in this new experience of these new substrates in this new now moment, you're now seeing that, yes, I am a grander picture within the all, and the reflection that I can give now is very open. I can see that, yes, I'm a part of Source Creator. I can see that I exist within an environment that's ever changing. I can see that I exist within myself as an eternal being of ever changingness. And I commit myself to seek light, to be light, and to allow myself to churn through all of these kind of experiences that come forward that you really didn't know you needed healed. But now all of these things are coming forward to say, yeah, I am a grander person. I can see it in my peripheral, but I need to work through these energies. I need to actually cultivate the energies, and you do actually got to transmute it. That's why sometimes it feels like you can see something kind of in the spokes up ahead, but there just feels to be some heaviness. You got to alchemize that energy. And so to alchemize that energy is just stating the 3 A's in the now moment and calling in your healing teams, calling in your Source Creator, like calling in all that is the Mother and the Father of you in the highest dimensions. And with slow breath and with aligning your pillar of light and calling in the violet flame to transmute and help clear and cleanse, and just allowing yourself to be embodied with greater crystalline light. And just allowing those energies and those emotions and those feelings to be soothed by your self-love. Because if you're sitting in this place right now, as if you see me preparing for myself to clear my fields and to accept healing, you love yourself enough to give yourself that healing. You love yourself enough to take a break throughout every day. At the beginning of the day, set your standards for who you are becoming as a representation of the heavens. I want to understand myself as a soul. I want to feel myself move forward as an authentic soul experience. When I talk and when I speak and when I walk and when I move, I want it to be a soul expression. I don't want it to be a fabricated, superficial force kind of aspect of me. I don't want it to be masked. I want it to be a soul expression. I want to feel as if I'm walking like a soul. I want to feel as if I'm walking as if I'm important. Because you're stating that within yourself as a soul. It's not just something superfluous. You walk up one day and you say, oh, I'm going to be like this today. I'm going to be like that today. If you just infuse yourself to be authentic and just who you are, you're walking as a greater version of you. You're becoming more conscious. Conscious awareness is that I am this version of me now, and I know that I'm a whole aspect of dodecahedron. For all of the soul fragments that I'm learning to know about myself, I'm learning to heal, I'm learning to explore. I want to try these different things out, and I know I'm going to come into greater intelligence and greater knowledge, because those wounds were held in something. They were held in a belief. They were held in a pattern. They were held in a wounding. They were held in a way that I'd always been treated, and all of these things that you're going to get to know yourself in. And accept it. Say, yeah, that's a part of me knowing me, and that's a part of the lush, and that's a part of the preciousness, and that's the only part that you can say that you own. Nobody else can know you better than you. You're the one that knows how you feel deep within yourself. Yeah, I took that healing, I took that energy to a really deep level. I was there with Mother Father. I was the only one with Mother Father when I alchemized that. And then you can come forward and say, yeah, I can help you. I've been practicing my own healing. I've taken myself to places that I didn't think I could go, but here I am. I'm still alchemizing. I'm still getting up. So that's why the importance of understanding all of these big, grandiose things that is the consciousness of God. And in every moment, in every new day, you're learning to be a new awareness of godliness. That's consciousness. Consciousness is, who are you in this moment of now? Who are you? What do you exist within and what's going on within you? Those are the questions of consciousness. And so allowing yourself to ask and to navigate and to cultivate and to excavate all of these things, you're investigating who you are within the all. That is consciousness awareness. Pardon me. That's giving yourself the power and the presence. You want that presence of soul. You want the presence of being firm and knowing who you are. That's confidence. That's self-esteem. That's saying, no, I can carry myself in every room. I've practiced it. I've practiced being the broken parts of me. I've practiced being the great parts of me. I've practiced all of these aspects of me, but now I want to practice this version of me that's just comfortable and just being me. I can just sit in no matter what I'm wearing, or no matter what, if I've got money in my purse, I got money, not my purse, it doesn't matter, because I've already been through the poverty energy. I've already been through the isolated energy. I've already been through the ostracized energy. I've healed all these aspects. And the only way that you can be confident is by knowing that, no, I can accept myself through any of it. It doesn't matter how other people treat me, because I know who I am as source. That's being authentic and genuine. And you can't fake it. You can't fake it, because God will absolutely put you in all of those situations. God will absolutely test you if you are going to be a leader, if you're going to be a healer, if you're going to help create new system for 5D Earth, if that's a part of your soul's contract. Absolutely, your teams and your higher self and God will absolutely place you in those moments of isolation. And you'll be isolated for as long as it takes, until you accept it. You're going to be placed in those situations where you absolutely have no money with not 2 pennies to rub together. And you will be placed in that until you accept it and you honor it. I can make peace with where I am. I can say that no matter what state of being I'm at, I know that I will always be loved. There are always essential for you to be an eternal being of life and the source creator and godliness. There are absolute rules. There are absolute rules and laws that in the process of you moving through all life, the process of you moving through all experiences and expressions and explorations of who you are, in the process of these 4 E's, you will always understand the very basic truths that never go away. They never go away, they always are. You will always exist. You will always change, and you will always be a part of Source Creator somehow, some way. And there will always be some sort of a reflection. The higher in consciousness you are, the higher reflections and the infinite explorations and potentials you have to co-create a source and harmonize a source. These are essential truths. They never, ever change. Ever. Ever. They never change. And in your 4 E's throughout all timelines, throughout all dimensions, these truths will always be the same. You will always exist. You will always exist. You'll change aspects of how consciously aware you are of the energy you sit in, whatever matter body you choose. As higher consciousness you get, you can choose to change whatever matter body you want because you're in charge and you're in ownership now of your Christ consciousness. You're in ownership of who you are as godliness. You can change the matter. You can change the physical temple. But first we must learn to honor it. If you're not honoring it, you're not going to be given the chance to change it and alter it. Why would you? Why would you be given power over something you have not learned to respect and honor? You're not going to have respect and power, respect and honor, respect and valuing and having the power over physics and having the power over science. It has nothing to do with ego, and that's why spirit will continually sit you down until you're in spirit, until you are in the soul aspect. To say, yes, I want to work with the dirt, I want to work with the soils, I want to work with the air, I want to work with the fire, I want to work with all that is the water. And you have honor for it, and you have excitement for it. These are masters, dear light. These are the shamans of the earth. It has nothing to do with ego. It never did and never will. You will never be a master in your ego, ever. Ever. Your ego helps you assist and get you around in the physical experience. That's fine, but it doesn't make you a master. The ego will never make you a master, ever. The alchemy of who you are, that's masterful, dear light ones. It takes time and patience. You got to sit back and what is alignment? Alignment will be your best friend from here on out for the rest of creation until the end of our soul becomes a soul into something else, because you will always exist. That's a truth of all reality. And religions don't teach you this. Religions teach you the concept of incarnation or not. There's always incarnation, you will always exist, period. Point blank, no other statement, no other conversation needed. That's it. This is why, again, step out of the box doors. You can walk around in the mall and know that there's an infinite number of choices you can explore and you can express yourself or you can experience the idea of incarnation. You will always exist. The higher consciousness you are, you'll know that you're always changing. That's an evolutionary truth. That is a creational truth. That will never, ever change. Change will always be, and you will always be a part of it. How consciously aware you are of it, how consciously connected you are of it, how consciously in reflection of it you are, and accepting of it you are, or are you putting lots of rigidity and boxes and statements of this and statements of that and suppressions and depressions and rules and regulations and all of those things? How are you defining yourself to be in all creation? There are going to be creational truths that will never change. Doesn't matter what dimension you're on, doesn't matter what religion you're in. So, again, go to the bigger umbrella. If you go to the bigger umbrella, you're far more intelligent because you're knowing that, well, I can just move through this experience and just treat it as, I can just move through this experience and not think it as an end state. It's not an end state. It's just an experience where I'm at right now. It's not my end state. I can make peace with it. Being homeless is not my end state. It's just a temporary experience. So I can make peace with it every day. And I'm learning through it every day. And I'm learning to be more in oneness with it every day. Because there's things here that it's not that bad if you're in a place that has nice temperatures and you're learning how to care for the planet and be with the planet. You're becoming more one with the planet, you're becoming more harmonized, you're becoming more youthful because you're learning how to do life in a more simplistic, different way. And you're coming to more authenticity with other people because there's no fronts you have to put on. So you learn a lot about yourself in these situations that Spirit will absolutely sit you down. Can you honor all aspects of life? What have you judged? The things that you have judged the most, those will be your very next lessons in your soul. If you judge somebody for being a certain way, that will be your next lesson. If you have judged people in a certain way, that will be your next lesson. If you have judged anybody and wanted to control and handle them, that will be your next lesson, and you will be controlled and you will be handled. Make no mistake about it. It has to be, it must be. You have to learn the dodecahedron. You will never be advanced and you will never be a master if you cannot say, yeah, I had to sit myself down for a couple of years and I was in an accident and I didn't have any use of my limbs. I had to learn to rely on other people. I had to learn not to be so self gung-ho on myself and do it all by myself. I had to ask for help. You had to humble yourself. You had to be vulnerable. Can you be okay being vulnerable? Physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Can you do that? Or do you always have to be the one that knows everything and pushes people down because you're the one that only has to know? The whole state of religion is going to go through an incredible transformation, and we should look forward to these. It should be very exciting because Divine Feminine can finally come forward and say, yeah, we're beautiful Divine Feminine. We have a lot of stories about life. We have stories about life, how to tune into life, how to be intuitive with life, how to heal life at very great and profound levels. Our voices have not been heard or respected or valued. So there's great transformations in all that we call religion, and you can still practice your religious practices and go into that little box door, but then you're going to come out and say, yes, I'm a part of the all. These are creational truths. I know that I will always exist. The idea of reincarnation is just always an incarnation. You're always going to incarnate somehow, some way. Now, it depends on how much consciousness you've earned. The consciousness is everything. How much consciousness have you earned? How much DNA have you activated? What codons are you enmeshing in? If you cannot activate that codon and know that codon inside and out, you're not going to move to the next level. Jacob's ladder. These are creational truths. These are creational soul truths. How does your soul navigate through creational omnipresence, creational omni fields, creational source fields, creational dimensional fields? You have to know how to navigate. You have to prepare yourself, heart, mind, body, and soul. How your brain thinks, how your brain is rewired in a 5D is not anything what it is a 3D. You do have to prepare yourself. Your teams are involved preparing your mind, how your mind thinks, how the synaptic patterns move, how your potentialities are more far-reaching. Can you practice now to be far-reaching in your thoughts, in your words, and your deeds? Can you be okay being authentic no matter what room you step in? Can you be self-loving in this way? Can you be so magnetic of yourself that it's okay for you to spend time with yourself and be okay with it? How can you be a master if you're saying you can't release that codon because you're still stuck in really low vibrational beliefs of judgment, discrimination? Where in religion, no matter what spiritual liturgy anybody comes forward with, no, they have to be a man dressed in a white or black cloak, and this is all that we can be to receive higher vibrational wisdoms. Higher vibrational wisdoms are everything and everywhere, so take it out of the religious box. God is science and science is God. God is life and life is God, period. It is an entertainment of quantum energy and a dance of love. It is and it always has been and always will be. There are creational truths, dear lighted ones. You will always exist. You, if you so choose, will always have awareness of this existence, and that's called consciousness. At what level are you reflecting of yourself within the grandeur of itself? You are a fragment of Source Creator, you are a fragment and a child, and you are a seed of Mother, Father, God, the Creator, the God, Source. Source is within all aspects of breath and moments and all life. So how could we discriminate against anything? It's all God, it's all Source, the Creator. And you will always have infinite aspects depending on your design and your soul's blueprint. Where is your soul at in this moment of expression? Where is your soul at in this moment of expression, of your moment of awareness, of your moment of learning, of your moment of the 3 E's, of your moment of the A's? Can you move into a 5th dimensional experience if you don't know how to alchemize? No. That's a creational truth. You can't get to 5D without knowing alchemy, without knowing who you are as a multidimensional being with chakras and fields and knowing that you have certain gifts and skills and talents to walk and navigate certain energies where you get to stand in your power and say, I don't like that energy, no thank you. I like this energy, thank you. You get to know what you like without what you don't like. You got to move through that navigation and be aware of it. That's, again, consciousness. When you are consciously aware, when you know who you are, I like that energy, I don't like that energy. I like that energy, I don't like that energy. How do you know thyself if you're not practicing it? How do you know thyself if you're not alchemizing? How do you know thyself if you know what makes you feel good and what doesn't make you feel good? Another person's story is not your story. Again, you're learning a lot about yourself. Are you a people pleaser? If so, why? Where's that wound? Can you stand out and can you say something that might be against the crowd? And if not, why? What are your beliefs about yourself? Do you believe in the creational laws that you will always exist? So then move about it just as another day's experience. You're in the playground. You're going to go up the slide. You're going to go down the slide. Can experience be in life this way? Have fun with it. I will always exist with Source Creator. Thank you, Source. Thank you for this gift. Thank you for this gift of eternal life. Now again, if you have not learned enough in the consciousness codon that codon is offering you, if you've not done the alchemy, if you have not brought in enough light, if you have not harmonized and integrated that segment of fragment that was discriminated and left out or separated, if you cannot call in and unify your segments of separation, your segments of discrimination, you cannot open up this into light, and you cannot then therefore change into a greater area of consciousness. Therefore, the greater expansion of consciousness you are cannot hold light for that next dimension you're going to step into. That next thing that is out of this world and wild, that in a higher vibrational consciousness of thought, it makes sense. Of course, it makes sense. That's God. God can do anything. We can levitate. We can bilocate. We can move about our bodies in different ways and become invisible and then reappear again. We can do anything we want. That's consciousness. These are not wild out things where there's just airy, fairy, and magic. Magic is the essence of Source, understanding consciousness and creational laws, creational rules. For your soul to move about in dimensions, dear lighted ones, you must get the certain rules, and you must get what you have done and what you have believed in, because you must earn and you must learn how to treat others of all life. And if you can't do these very simple basic things, if you cannot understand how to walk about life without hurting them, because you have a wound that is so deep and you refuse to look at it, if you cannot do these basic things, you will stay in the dimension and the vibration that you're in, because you are ultimately in charge of your vibration. You are ultimately in charge of your body. You're ultimately in charge of your health and your wellness and where you sit within it. You are 100% responsible. Church and state has allowed its very low vibrational tactics and its low vibrational suppressions and agendas to keep us very separate and keep us very numb and dumb. But now that all the curses and the hexes will be bathed and cleansed from the omnipresent, from the substrates of our reality, the environment that we exist within is getting more purified and rarefied every day. The more that you align with who you are within and release any notion of falling into anybody else's story and becoming their character, you're going to choose to write your own, if you so wish. This is being a sovereign master, and it's all up to you. If you don't choose to be a master and you feel very happy following other people and following others' characters for you, then do so and be so. But it's going to be a difficult challenge for you to move into 5D if all you're doing is following other people, or trying to pretend like you're somebody else and you're not, because you need to know who you are, because you will be placed with many energies before you. You'll be placed with many energy experiences, and you have to navigate it all on your own. You will not have anybody to tell you and show you. You have masters like myself brought before you to explain to you and express to you the soul's journey and process. There is a process to your soul's evolution. Would you like to learn it? Yes or no? There is a process to understand how you're able to move through various dimensions of energy and light and information. Vibration is everything, dear lighted ones. If you're at a low vibration, you cannot reach a higher vibration, and doing a destiny stop will not help you, and it will not work. You cannot bring a higher vibrational destiny into a lower vibrational body and expect your lower vibrational body and your shut-off mind and your shut-off experiences and your shut-off beliefs and your little closed box store belief from a higher vibrational experience. You will go into psychosis and you will have a mental breakdown. Your mental body was not prepared. Why you do have what's called, you're a multidimensional being. And through the process of ascension, you're given time and space to understand your multidimensional bodies and understand how your mind through time is changing through your vibration and through your consciousness. What you thought in a 3D was possible is not what a 5D is. You have to prepare yourself. It can't go just like that. You can't go from a gravity experience to a levitation experience just like that. You have to prepare yourself for that. You have to prepare yourself for manifesting right from thought. Would you want to manifest right from thought right now? Most of you, I'm telling you right now, no. Because most of you and most of us are still stuck in low vibrational, self-harming patterns. You're not entrained. You're not entrained at higher vibrational consciousness. So let's begin. There are creational truths, dear lighted ones. You are a part of Source Creator. That is the truth. It has nothing to do with your belief of God. That's a religious package and a pack of clothes you put on in the religious stores and in the religious thing called malls. You go into a mall and there's 150 stores and there are all these different religions that you can believe in, who you are, what you exist in, and what's going on within you. They're very important. Advanced, what is the word? Enhanced and advanced. The insectoids are so enhanced, and their attunement to vibration is so enhanced that I was explaining that from a piece of dirt or a piece of lint or whatever falling from a vent in the ceiling, and the insectoids in the room, and the insectoid aspects of your DNA, and the insectoid skills, gifts, and talents that you have within your bodies, within your sensing, and because you come so excited about energy, excited about the fine-tunement, and that's what autism, being a high-functioning autistic being teaches me. It allows me to be that insectoid vibrational experience of paying attention to even the most minute energy, paying attention to the most smallest of aspects of how things move through the vibrational fields. And so that's what the insectoids teach me, and they help me advance my skills in a very refined way. And so they were giving me a visualization. I was just sharing that with you in my experience. And so that's really wonderful. So yeah, I didn't know that my phone had turned off and the disconnection. There's been a lot of internet issues and a lot of glitches going on. So I don't know how long I was talking because I was in a channel and my eyes were closed. But the insectoids were just showing me that this, again, we want to be oneness within the grand diversity of all that is life, and we can become softer with ourselves and softer with all animals. Because if you're in judgment and separation of anything outside of you, it's because you're in judgment and separation of again, what's going on within you. So just know and understand that Source is the diversity of all oneness. Source is the creator of all that is diversity. And again, it always made me sense. I questioned this when I was younger, because I always knew right from a child of the magnitude and the plenty of Source. And I would always say, well, why would there be so many different religions on earth when Source is just all that is one? Why would we want to separate and judge and dissect and push things on the outer visions and how we see the world? And there's been so many traumas and wars and deaths. Source is the creator of all diversity. Wouldn't it be boring if we all just had one garden and one flower and one piece of grass and one body, and everybody had the same body and everybody had the same hair and everybody had the same this and that? How would we ever grow? We'd eat the same food every day. We would have the same this and the same that's not evolution. That's a glitch into de-evolution and entropy. So we need the paradox, we need the juxtaposition, and this is why I've loved styling, because you need that juxtaposition, you need to put that difference in there to ignite something else. In styling, that belt, that accessory adds a whole different feel to the whole outfit and ensemble. And little pieces like that, little pieces of accessory, little pieces of vibration that match the spirit within to come out. And that's true styling, is how are you feeling today? What is the spirit showing you today? What does the spirit want to express today? How does the spirit want to be expressive today if you're dealing with a divine feminine energy? How do you want to express yourself in that divine feminine energy? And so they're showing me, when I used to do styling for men and having the divine masculines be okay in their divine feminine energy. And it might just be, there's beautiful shirts and beautiful dress shirts that men can wear, and they're a bit more flowy and they're a bit more relaxed, if you will. And that's a beautiful way to express a divine feminine energy. Where you're just hanging out for the day and you've got this beautiful baggy pair of, Bermuda shorts. I like men that wear longer shorts. I don't like the shorter shorts on men. It's just a styling preference for me. And just having a longer pair of shorts with a tank top underneath and a flowy long shirt. And that's a feminine touch on a very masculine energy. And I think it looks really super sexy. And so just doing that in different ways to style just brings that balanced energy out, and it's super, super sexy. And then just having some natural beads, and those are just things that styling needs. Styling needs that juxtaposition of energy to pull out that extra, wow, it works, right? And that's the thing about styling that really gets missed, I find, in fashion. I should have another episode just talking about fashion, because sometimes the fashion designers, they have their visions and stuff, but as far as how I prefer and how I style, and sometimes they have just beautiful outfits, but it's just one thing that just misses, and then the whole ensemble just doesn't feel as if it satisfies, if you will, if you're having that great meal in the restaurant. And sometimes the designers just miss that by simple little things. And it's also too on how we prefer to share our energy in being very balanced. And it's very important that designers take that into consideration. And they've done such a really profound job taking the gender ideas into fashion, and having gender neutral clothing has been very important. Because it's going to be helping us assist in exploring and expressing our energies of whatever we want to express that day. You know, for women to wear the baggier boyfriend jeans, you know, and to have a little tank top, and to have some leather bands one day that are really thick and rough and worn. And that's a very masculine experience, right? And then you can have a beautiful flowy silk blouse. So again, be comfortable with the juxtaposition of energies and how clothes work with energies, and just have it flow very beautifully, and have your styling in that way so that you can practice and playing with these energies without feeling as if you're crossing boundaries for yourself, or you want to be able to, again, step beyond your old boundaries of what you thought and discriminated against certain things of divine feminine, divine masculine, or your beliefs about anything really. Because again, you want to be that eternal experience of always alchemizing into a higher version of you, always alchemizing into a role model that has impact and influence, that you can move within any energy and be okay with it, because that's how loving and sure you are within yourself. You can navigate around any conversation and say you can bring peace and balance to it. You can bring that unification to it. And that's ultimately why we're here as masters, is to bring unification to all that was broken. And have just a higher vibration of intelligence, because isn't that what we all want? Just a little bit more intelligence, please. So, and talking about the clairs, moving about in a higher awareness that when you're using your gifts and your skills and your talents, understanding the seat and the belly of all creation is imagination, and imagining yourself in higher vibrational experiences, imagining yourself in higher vibrational bodies. Your imagination, your inspiration is going to be very, very key in self-healing. Seeing your body and your cells being bathed and infused with crystalline light, and breathing in crystalline light, and feeling crystalline light within your cells and your body and all that you're doing. And again, imagining, if you're a creator, you know, in the multidimensional experience of all that you are, imagination and inspiration is everything. Whether it's physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, and sexual, that imagination and inspiration is needed in all of it for you to create alchemy. For you to visualize a new body that's healed, for you to visualize a new emotional experience that can be fulfilling for you and not be so fear-based. You know, we've had a lot of healing to do around the emotional body, and that's why the fourth dimensional realm is there for us. The fourth dimensional realm is really a realm of getting used to our emotional bodies without abuse. That's really what the fourth dimensional realm is about. It's about healing the emotional body that has been abused over thousands and thousands of years. And so the emotional realm, and why, you know, the next year or two is going to be very emotional for a lot of people, and really getting used to that alignment of relationship again with your emotional body. You know, how do I really want to feel love and being made love to, and all of these things that help you become more you. You're going to get used to your emotional body, build a relationship with your emotional body, get healing to your emotional body. Through your physical body, your emotional body will heal, and vice versa. Because your physical body is an attribute of your emotional body. If your emotional body is so warped and damaged and out of balance, your physical body will feel it and know it and see it as well. A very well-balanced body, and a very well-balanced, nourished body from an emotional, spiritual perspective, is going to be manifesting a beautiful physical body. It's just natural, because your cells and your spirit trump the matter. So write that down, that's important. Your spirit and your soul trump all that is matter. That's why you must learn to be conscious, consciously aware, consciously awake, mindfully awake. Your consciousness affects all matter. Therefore, thus then, our consciousness will affect all that is science. These are creational truths. In every dimension, there is information and there is vibration. As you shift your vibration, as you create and ingather more information, as you seek it and gather it, as you call it in, as you explore, as you express, as you experience, as you allow yourself to be the 3 E's, you evolve, becoming then what? You become a higher vibration, you become a higher information. You're allowing yourself to become higher of intellect, allowing yourself to become of higher value of who you are as information, as intelligence, as love, as honor, as compassion, all is one and one is all. There can be great complexity and great unity in diversity. We need diversity. We create inventions from diversity. We create healing from diversity. We must have diversity. The more diversity, the better. That's God's. That's God's creation. God is so happy to create new diversity. What can we create today? What can we create today? What can we create today? Let's not create what we did yesterday. Let's create something new. What can we create new? And then knowing that you can be at peace and make oneness with whatever you're at in the moment and be okay with it. And take time getting to know who you are in this new version of you. Because what are the creational rules again? And you can just sit back and relax. Let's take a deep breath. Spine is straight, feet on the floor. Connect with your earth star grid beneath your feet and call in crystalline light. Call in crystalline light. Use your words out loud so your cells can hear you. You want to magnetize and you want to turn on and be the commander of your 8-foot fields and your 20-foot fields, whatever your fields are at, your Merkaba. Calling light to myself, dear lighted ones. I'm calling light to myself, Mother, Father, God. I call light, Mother, Father, God. I am seeking light, Mother, Father, God. I accept light, Mother, Father, God. In the version of me and my higher self and all my healing teams, can you be with me in this moment? I thank you for your presence and I thank you for your love and I thank you for your help. In the highest version of me and in the highest version of my benevolence and in my voice and in my sound, my fields are being activated anew. My fields are being activated with love. I create love. I emulate love. Love, 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 love. Love is a vibration. Love is a vibration. Love is a vibration. Shamaikeanaya, Ianaya, Shiamaetiki, Sianama, Siananae, Maa, Maa, Etikinamakatatiki, Siananaka, Naya, Amaatiki. Deep breath. Shiamakataki, Amaa. Give your cells and give your chakras permission to open. My cells open, my cells open, aya. My chakra opens, aya. Itikianaya, uyanaya kiamai. Breathe in crystalline light, breathe in crystalline light, breathe in crystalline light. Shiamakataki, Sianamakataki, 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 Yamaa, Etikinakataka. Call in your daily codes of cosmic light, of galactic knowing, celestial knowing, alien knowing, earthly knowing, human knowing, Gaia knowing. Eshiamaya Kianaya. Your body's being transformed as you sound. Isianaya. Yamaya Katia Naya Sayamaka Takesi and Namaya Ata Ianakata Amaa Eamaa Takesi Amaa Ea Eanaka Eana Anamakata Takia Nanakaya Nanaka Esianamakata Takiana Crystalline light around your chakras, Eyananakaya. Crystalline light around your chakras, Eyanakaya inna. Eyanaikesiana, Eyanakana ma, Eyanakaya esia, ma eketikeshiana. Deep breath. Breathe in crystalline light, breathe in love. Breathe in crystalline light, breathe in love. Shiamaya kite anaya maya. As you sound, as you play, as you sing, as you play, your cells change. Vibration. Your cells change in vibration. Esianamaya kite esianaya. Visualize love and light moving through your cells. Teamaikeanaya. Your higher self and your healing teams are bathing you with love. You see celestial beings and beings of all over, bathing you in love because you are one. Diversity and oneness is all that we are. Eya, eya, Ishiyanamaketeya. Take a deep breath. Slowly breathe out. Slowly exhale. Ground into the earth, ground into the earth, ground into the earth. Acknowledge your Earth Star Chakra. One more full body breath, rising up to the heavens to your Soul Star Chakra. Touch the heavens. You are the heavens. You are the heavens. I am the heavens. I am the heavens. Siyanama katatike, siyanama siyanana. Ground. May your fields and your bodies be filled with goosebumples and light, delighted ones, the little sparkling angel essences of the fairies, angel essences of all that is love and light, kissing you and bathing you and kissing you and bathing you. And appreciate your guides and your ancestors that guide you and move you and navigate you through all things, getting you more comfortable with the lessons of forgiveness. And we all have lessons of forgiveness. Not one person on this earth cannot leave this planet without understanding and fully enmeshing and fully encapsulating and being captivated by, enraptured by, the vibration of forgiveness. It's deep and it's wide and it is eternal, and you will eternally change as the creational rules are. You will always be creationally evolved and involved with forgiveness, with the Creator. And there are lessons about forgiveness all the way up to the 13th dimension in this one universe. So, dear lighted ones, if you think you know forgiveness, think again. And the more enraptured you are with spirit, you become more humble and more vulnerable that you don't know what you don't know. And there are infinite things of infinite aspects, that source. I surrender, Source Creator. Thank you for allowing me the eternal knowingness that I will be eternally loving and changing through all that is forgiveness. For my presumptions and my assumptions and my perspectives have been small and maybe a bit in limitation. I'm human, learning my way around. I give myself forgiveness. And my body wants forgiveness, and my cells want forgiveness. And see yourself pouring love into the belly. See yourself pouring love and light into your heart. See yourself pouring love and light into the organs, into your lungs, into your skin. Pour love and light onto all that you are. That little child of you that wants to come out and play. Say, yes, we've done some singing and we've made some sounds and we've visualized the playground and we've visualized this and we've visualized that. We visualize ourselves eternal with Mother, Father, God. How important is that, to be visualizing yourself to be eternal? I am so eternal. This is much fun, dear lighted ones. Can we be the sacred child every now and then? Can we bring ourselves forward to play with inventiveness and love and joy? My intention for all of you, dear lighted ones, is that you remember the sacred child within and go into them all and play as much as you like. But always know there are bigger playgrounds. Always know there are bigger elevators. And you can go in and play and press the button with God at any time, and there's great hope and great promise in all things. And know that just with a sound and with a click and a tick and an excitement, movement, and dancing around and making love with your own body. And we all know what that feels like. Can you give it reverence and honor and humility to know your body in different ways and bring sacred relationship back to your body, dear lighted ones? I guarantee you right now, dear lighted ones, and this is part of creational rules, that you will learn great love of yourself, and you will fall in love with yourself, and great ecstasy with self, and great orgasm with thyself, and you will find great health with yourself, and great movement and youthfulness with thyself, and you're getting into a new relationship with thyself. For all is godly. Your body is godly, your voice is godly, your experience is godly, your feelings are godly, your emotions are godly, your sensings are godly, everything about you is godly, your DNA is godly. If there was ever a godly thing, it's your DNA. And God will unpack with you in the light and the shining of it as you've forgiven, as you open up through the densities that you've healed and integrated. God in yourself will open up and shine light onto any new code on at any new moment, and you will see one more time and one more time again. I'm infinite and I'm eternal, and I always change with God. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Thank you. That DNA is packed with new godliness. Make no mistake about it. Your DNA is your eternal equation with God. And no matter what body form you go to, it's very designed at the highest level. And this is why some of us that have come as star seeds could not understand how the blasphemy of such life and the taking of life has just been done with such carelessness. If you knew what goes on in the design of your DNA and your codons, you would never ever harm another aspect of life ever again. One codon, dear lighted ones, it's hard for you to imagine how small one codon is and what is involved within the making of one codon. Can you give reverence in this moment right now, dear lighted ones, and can you bow and kiss the ground for the very design and mastery that Source Creator has given you in one codon, so that you can remember who you were in a past life, you can remember who you were as an Octarian, coming here to the planet to build bridges, but instead your body was taken out to be tested and studied and placed within the DNA of other bodies through other testings and through other human programs of ultra-humans and superhumans. Can you forgive that? And can you know it's just an experience of walking through the playground and up the slide and down the slide, and can you make peace with it? I did. That was one of my lifetimes, and why I can talk about such programs of the government and why they think they're all in secret, but they're not. But there had to be somebody that can come through and speak of such confidence and such self-esteem and such knowing. I know who I am, and I know what I see, and I know what I do, and I know what I feel. I'm an expert in the psyche healing. You can't talk me down from this, because it is who I am. I've been this for many generations and many eons and many planets. You know what you know. I know what I know. When you heal your soul fragments, you become it. And then you bring peace and healing to it. And I see the visions of that life. That's my gift. That's what God gave me. As you heal that soul fragment, you get the visions of that life. And of course, know this, dear lighted ones, because the ego might go a little crazy. You're only going to be given visions of what's knowing and needed for that moment of your now lifetime. That's why I had that vision of that experience, of that Octarian on that table. I needed it for this lifetime to make me heal and allow that integration of this moment now here. Your higher self knows what it's doing. Trust it. Don't force anything. And this is why many of you will be shown and sat down until you get the vibrational spiritual laws. Because sometimes you force your way into other people's akash. You force your way into monitoring spiriting. You force your way into seeing into other people's lives that you don't have any right to. You weren't given permission. But you wanted it because you want something. You want. You have wounds. So sit down and fix your wounds. Heal them. Then you're not going to go abusing spiritual laws. Just because you can remote view doesn't mean you should. Especially when you're encroaching on other people's energy. That's a law, dear lighted ones. Get used to it. Because your gods are going to keep stripping your gifts. Your gods are going to keep stripping your skills. Your gods are going to keep stripping you until you sit down and get it. You don't have a right to interfere with other people's lives. And that goes with spell work. It goes with human agendas. It goes with human testing, stalking, and spying and hacking. Who gave you the right? It's not your right. How would it feel, dear lighted ones, if the aliens and our celestials that had 12th dimensional gifts and skills and talents, and how would it feel if you were abused every day by these celestials that could and very well could in every way without you even knowing, and they could sit and they can do whatever they wanted to your body and they can do whatever they wanted to you. They respect the highest order of spiritual laws, dear lighted ones, because it's our desire and it's our delight to know source in every way we can, but to do it through our own selves and our own intentions and our own seeking of source, not because somebody's forcing us. Not because somebody's putting us on a table and they're enforcing us through MK Ultra and through mind control and brain control and biochemical control and all these things that have been done on the human form because it's low consciousness. It's all about control and greed and manifesting and controlling information and people and demonizing them and weaponizing them. I've known about all these agendas, dear lighted ones, inside and out and upside and down. And I can talk about it and I'm bringing it forward and I'm going to keep talking about it. They're inhumane as fuck. And nobody putting any pieces of paper on a table to say, this is our new agenda and here's how we're going to abuse the next humans. We've got to know how it's going to take. How long will it take us to deconstruct a human from spirit? How long will it take us? Did you not see enough of Epstein and the Diddy projects? Did you not see enough of this to know that what's that going to get you? And then what? Then you're going to have a whole bunch of sick people you got to heal. And then what? You've suppressed all the healers. You've taken them right out. They don't want to work for you anymore. They don't want to heal. They're exhausted. They haven't earned any money. You've suppressed their platforms. You've given them no vice. You've given them no credit. Why would they want to come and heal for you? You think your hospitals and your synthetic medicines are going to heal what you've done with your MK Ultra programs? It's not going to heal. Why? Because you attack the spirit. You attack the soul. You don't know how to heal. You don't know anything. I'm talking to the governments. I'm talking to the people of the shadow governments. I'm talking to the people that abuse people and interfere with other people's lives with their magic and with their covert abuse. You don't know how to heal. You've made a little monster and you don't know how to heal it. And there's going to be a lot of people that will take themselves out because they don't know how to heal it. There's no answers. There are answers in higher intelligent and light concepts and light wisdoms and light teachings, but that's been suppressed too. YouTube corruption, still talking to you, still hashtag. YouTube corruption. Why is it okay for YouTube, a company so very big, to be a $450 billion wide? Why is it? Why is it that when you are told and when you are shown that there are various channels on your platform that are being abused and the upload dates are being messed with by people in your company? How is it so that you're allowing that? How is it okay? How is it okay that you blatantly abuse human rights experiences every day and you do nothing about it? You're a $4 billion deep company. I've shown you that upload dates are being messed with blatantly. That my views and pilfering is being done blatantly every upload. I've shown it and I've proved it. If you go back on the histories of everything that has gone on with my channel and look up the employee numbers and the employee addresses and the IP addresses and what's going on in the background, everything has a click and everybody has a tick. And there is employee codes and numbers to every click and every tick. Who are these people? How are they being paid and why? Why is it my channel is not seen like the rest of everybody else? Why is that? Why is that? Why are there people on this planet controlling who sees me and who doesn't? Why? Why are there people on this planet that control who I get sabotaged by, who sabotages me, who puts hits on me, and how much I am seen and known by the outside world, and if I'm dead or alive or otherwise, if I'm dead or alive or have a POA on me? Why is that? Why are there so many people that are wanting to force a narrative on my soul? Why? Why? Your POAs haven't worked. You're trying to take me out hasn't worked. You're putting bids and hexes and prices and names, and the false marriages on my names haven't worked. I'm not your vibration. I will never be your vibration. You will never write my vibration. You will never write my life. You will never write my story. You will never write my illness or my health. You just won't. You're not the same vibration. You're not nowhere near me. You're not in the same ballpark. You're not in the same realm. You're not in the same planet. You don't know who I am. You will not touch my life or my soul or my spirit. You damaged me. You did great damage, but it taught me how to make my way out and alchemize myself brand new. That's my work. I get to credit that work. It's my work. I'm self-made. Thank God for God. God and I take credit for my story, period. I ask these questions to the public and to creation because there's many other people that are out there that have been in such programs and projects and nobody's answering them. Just like the coloreds on this planet. Just like the disenfranchised, and the numbers goes up every day. Why are there so many disenfranchised? Why? Why is there even a word? Why is there even a thing like that? Why? Why are there so many people that want to narrate where and when and whom and how I get seen and known? Why is it that there are so many people with knowing and answering and hands on my money and I haven't seen a penny of it? Why and how and whom? Why is it so important that everybody see me in poverty, that I never get given to, I never get loved, and I never get nourished, and I never get nothing? Because they're in such hate. And why and how and whom? And when am I going to get my free will? And when am I going to get my human rights? Because everything has been broken and busted. And then you tell me you're officials. And then you tell me you think you're going to free pass in the heavens. And then you tell me that Anubis standing behind me is going to balance your scales for you because you come forward 3 years later and give me your one confession. No. Truth and making right, delighted ones, is the only way through this. And you must make right on all your wrongs. The shadow governments, you must make right all your wrongs. It doesn't matter if you've had 3 bosses that were involved in this project since the Eisenhower days that have been affecting my life and my soul. There is truth about my birthright that needs to come forward. There are papers about my birthright that needs to come forward. And if there's any fabrication or lies or deceits, then that will add on to your karma. Thus then, law is law. All that you do affects you. All that you do comes back to you. You cannot mess with people's lives and think you're going to walk away and think that because you got a few bars on your uniform that you get away scot-free by messing with people's lives and free will. You don't. Because they are an equal soul to the universe, and their universal rights are right use of free will and non-interference, because I choose to be a balanced soul, and I can't balance myself if there's 150 people pressing their asses on my life. That's how my life has been, and I call judgment on it. Nobody has a right to say and see and pretend and act and behave as if I'm going to be seen by however many, whoever, and whenever. I create such light on this planet, I'm seen throughout all galaxies, and why is it nobody knows me? Or they're only known if there's people opening up such windows, and they have control and honoring over it. Nobody controls my life or my light, period. And if you think you do, you're going to keep getting karma, and you're going to keep getting karma until you manifest your way out. Period. That's your choice. I told you a long time ago, I am the Ark of the Covenant. You start messing with me, and you're messing with your own demise. Because you don't have a right. I have codes, delighted ones, and they're sacred. Step away. If I invite you to touch me, then I invite you to touch me. Otherwise, you didn't. But in the higher consciousness state, you're trying everything you can to seethe into my Akash, you're trying to peer into what's going on at night, what stories can I bring forward, what lies can I bring forward, what can we say about her now, what can we say about her now? You're so obsessed, delighted ones. Get your own life. Get your own sandwich. Eat of your own sandwich. My light is my light, my vibration is my vibration. Get out. I didn't invite you in. And why I walk around with no posse and no circle. I'm here as a teacher, a healer, and a leader, delighted ones, and I've been very patient, I've been very kind, and I've been very sweet, and I've been very coy. And I see things that you don't think that I see, and I see it through and through. And I go home and I make peace with it, and I pray about it. And I give you all prayers of forgiveness. Because you are who you are, children in the playground not learning and not understanding how to play. Because you think that that one simple sentence with 3 words, do unto others, means something, but I guess it doesn't. Because when it comes to corruption, and when it comes to superficiality, and when it comes to looking like you want to look like, and it comes to getting what you get, and it comes to money and money and money and money and money, it doesn't matter, because anybody will do anything on this planet for money. And then what? We ask you again, then what? How consciously awake are you? And then what? So your body becomes ill and diseased. Your body parts become ill and diseased. Your mind becomes ill and diseased. Black magic and magic thinks you answer everything, and it doesn't. You're just getting more obsessed about what you think you can control, and you don't. Again, you're messing with creation, you're messing with natural order, but I guess that's your path right now. Then what? You could just go to then what and say, well, how about I just get healed? How about that? How about you bypass and miss all the ways you're going to bump your head on the wall again and again and again, and you're going to fall into more karma, karma, karma. Then what? Then your lineages are saying, my gosh, will you wake up? The deity before you will not be touched, dear lighted ones. She is of the heavens. And she is of utmost importance to all creation. It is her turn to be lifted and celebrated, and she will. It has nothing to do with you. Her Akash is very sacred, and it will be veiled. There will be no getting in her Akash. You might think you are, but you're not. For 13th dimensional beings have very special veils, and they're going to show you whatever they think they're going to show you just so they can trip you up and sit you down. Because you think that you're almighty and you think you're playing God on everybody else's life and back end of life. And you don't and you won't. Because you don't know spiritual law, you're not practicing them, thus then, you will not ascend. Right use of free will and non-interference is the #1 law, dear lighted ones. May you recite it out throughout your day and live it. There are natural order laws, and they will always be. You will always be with eternal source. However you choose to design that is up to you in source in the highest dimensional ways, and you're coming forth in this creational way to explore, express, and experience all that you are as source. And you will eternally change. Every dimensional experience is vibration and information. Who are you? Stay out of people's ways, stay out of people's lives, stay out of people's lanes, and get to know who you are. You're here for you and your package. And as you love your package and forgive your package and give compassion to your package, you get a greater package, don't you? Because you've chosen to heal it instead of suppress it and deny it. Allow the light to flow through. Natural order for your bodies and vessels, dear lighted ones, and use your imagination and inspiration to call in higher entrainment and radiation of affirmations and light and visualizations. Be the healers and the teachers that you're meant to be, dear lighted ones. Stand up. Speak for the higher truth of you, dear lighted ones, and if something doesn't feel right, state it so. This doesn't feel right. I feel an energy here. Let's go investigate that. Speak it. That's your spirit. Your spirit says, no, I don't like that energy. Go away, please. Thank you. I had an experience last night, dear lighted ones. And I'll say this to you. It's a good example of understanding your body and how you feel about energy. I was speaking with somebody last night. And at first it turned out to be a little coffee break. And I was having coffee with this, fine person. And this fine person was sent there, and it's wanting to have an experience with me and a relationship with me. And I said no several times. And I said that I've got a lot on my back burner, and I presented it as nice and kind as I could. And I'd put up the boundaries physically, mentally, emotionally, and energetically as I could. And I did my checks and my balances. And this person kept pushing throughout the coffee about wanting certain things and wanting to move me into his story and put me as a character in his story and write the character of me in his story. And I said, that's not the character I wish to be. I don't wish to play that game. I don't wish to be in that way. And this is, I'm going to state it for the last time. And then you can get up and you can move. This is how it's going to be. Thank you for the coffee. I'm not interested. Thank you for the coffee. This will never be. Thank you for the coffee. I'm not going to be a character in your story. Thank you. And a divine feminine had to state that with great conscience, and he walked away and saying, yes, I understand. I thank you for your thing. And but if you ever change your mind, here you go. Here's my number. And it kept pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing, at least 5 to 6 to 10 times. And no wasn't enough the first time. No wasn't enough the second time. No wasn't enough the third or fourth time. And I had to bring other reasons and other proposings. And I said, no, well, this is where I'm at. And I had to state it in my work. I had to state it in where I'm at physically. I had to state it where I'm at by spiritually. I had to state it. Didn't matter how many times I said no. I had to state it again. I had to state it again. I had to state it again. Why is that? Why is that? I'm a divine feminine. I should state it once. Move away from my energy. I'm not going to engage with you. You can try and write whatever story you want of me, all you want. That's not going to be me in the character. It's going to be a delusion of you, because I'm not in that character story. That's not my story. That's your story. And you won't place me in your story. You just won't. I have to be in agreeance of it, and I'm not in agreeance of it. I don't agree. You won't get my permission. Divine Feminines, when she's fully activated, sends off a great light because her auras and her chakras are balanced, and it's very attractive. I get that. I'm celestial, I'm cosmic, I get that. I'm a starseed, I get that. I'm a profound vibration, I get that. Dear lighted ones, for the respect of all life, when somebody says, leave me alone, stop the magic, it means stop the magic, leave me alone. I've had enough. I've been here over 50 years, and my life has been nothing but infiltration, interference, and abhorrent abuse, inhumane and intolerable. Tormenting, that I have to heal, and I have to heal for a few more years yet, to fully take on the understanding of what has been done to me, that nobody had any right to. There were no permissions, there were no signatures on any level. People have been making money off of me and taking my energy and my work and making their lives very good and very luxurious off my energy and my work and my energy codes and my name, using my name however they could. And I've been very polite and I've been very kind. I've sat homeless for over 5 years, and I don't want to sit homeless any longer. I've learned my lessons and I've made peace with it. What everybody can do that has been a part of these experiences and how they can help me, because I've stated it in more than 10 ways, and now your soul's experience is on the line as you choose the dimension you're going to be with and how you will co-create. What I need more than anything right now are the resources to make my life right in the financial mess that has been made. So those that would like to come forward and make right on their behalf, then put donations in my account or send it forward to the transit and to the bank that I have stated in the addresses. In my contact on YouTube, I've been very specific about 2 ways to contact me. There are only 2 ways to contact me. Through PayPal, through a session, and then put in the comments what session that you would like, and it will be a face-to-face session and it will be recorded. And I do need donations for those that have screwed me over, from all the way to the governments and everybody that's been involved in the US and in Canada and all those others around the world and the practitioners that have been called on, if you are still alive and if you're still kicking. The donations will help me and assist me in getting my life back on go. Because I do have things that I want to create and I want to go create with and I want to absolutely manifest. I haven't been able to because everybody's had their hands on my life. And it's been nothing but feeling as if I'm a caged bird that keeps getting abused every day and the feathers being plucked off of me until I cannot fly anymore. And it's been very intentional, it's very malicious. And enough is enough. God's taken each and every one of you and separated you from me. That's how we can make this right, because I'm asking for it. I've been very clear. If you want to help me, then provide the donations so I can get my life back on go. And those that have been providing that donations, I'm very grateful, very grateful. I've eaten in the last couple of years because of these 1 or 2 donators, 1 or 2, out of the hundreds and thousands that I give love and light to. That's how I'm asking to be held right now. I'm asking to be held for my healing in the reciprocation of your kind hearts and your kind honoring. I don't want to be pressed. I don't deserve to be pressed. I'm high functioning and I can feel everything. Anybody that continues to do sex magic on me, and you've already been told 1,000,000,000 times to stop and stop doing it, I feel it, it's disgusting. You don't have permission. You will be separated from your ancestors and your gifts and your skills will be stripped from you. I don't deserve the constant attacks vibrationally. I feel it and it's disgusting. Please stop. If you choose to come forward and wish to collaborate, there are a couple of you that are meant to collaborate with me for new earth systems in leadership roles. Then come forward and brave before me, dear lighted ones. Stop playing games and don't send people. Be mature, dear lighted ones. I don't bite. Treat me with respect and I you. I will bow as you bow. It's called reverence and equal reciprocity. It hasn't been given to me yet, but I'm asking for it so we can be a part of this game and play together. Will you show me equal respect as I have you? I have given you infinite hours of free teaching and healings that nobody on this planet will give. Ever. Ever. Nothing will be given the way I give it. My codes are unique, never to be ever here before ever again. You are in a tantalizing shop of energy, dear lighted ones, and it will never be offered ever again. My store is the only store like me. It is my brand, it is my essence. And God has placed me here like this and I claim it. I'm asking for equal reciprocity right now. I've never been able to say that word and I still can't. That's part of my theme because it just hasn't been given. That's what I'm asking for. I'm asking to share the videos. Contact YouTube and say how blatantly unfair it is. Assist thine teacher. And if you can, that would be wonderful. And if you can't, then so be it. Then move on your way. Thank you anyways, and we'll still have our class and I'll still come forward and I'll teach unconditionally every day. But as far as the pressing and as far as the pushing and as far as the getting into my field and the kosh and all the things that are violating me in every day and the infinite number of lies and things that have been told and the diseases and the infections and the intentions to hate me and to all of these things that have been done on the government's behalf and the stories and the narratives and the deceits and the fabrications and the forms and the documents, I have received absolutely nothing to ever make it right. Nothing has been done to make it right with me. I want truth, clarity, and closure on my birth records and a dual citizenship because I belong to both nations. And I will heal both nations and both peoples. We are one. I'm a great teacher and I'm a master of the heavens of royal lineage, and I will never be here again, and this is the timeline of my life in which I'm meant to be held high and respected because I am. For those to make it right with me, please donate. I don't need to hear your confessions or your stories. It doesn't matter to me. You are weightless to me. You're all forgiven. Please leave me alone. Move on with your life and your healing. All of you need assessment and all of you need to be healed. Please let me heal. Bring back the monies that you have stolen because it's time for me to get on with my life and I have much to do. And I cannot do it sitting homeless in the street, watching with one eye open all the time to see who's stalking, hacking, and attacking me. So in this day, delighted ones, I wish you goodwill. We are going to be putting on ascension classes and wisdoms and teachings every day because it's who I am and it's who I am, it's who I am. Genuine and authentic. I am the divine feminine and goddess. And I'm here as a leader and a teacher on this planet to bring vibrations that have never been brought before through the divine holy creator. I'm a part of the galactic federations and the jurisdictions of the heavens, dear lighted ones. It's who I am. And that will never change. I serve God. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Thank you, delighted ones. Thank you, delighted ones. Thank you, delighted ones. So I'm really excited to get my book 4. It's going to have more stories. Actually, book 5 will be more about a book about, my life story. Book 4 is going to be about the Alliance of Light, is how to do the alchemy that we do. And so I do have to go, dear lighted ones. I love you so much. How to get in touch with me is paypal.me/Joanna L. Ross. And that's the donation. That's the PayPal code for classes and sessions and activations, styling sessions, consulting, collaborations. You want to talk to me, anything like that, there's 2 ways to get in touch with me. PayPal. Put your comments in the comment field. Donations are greatly appreciated. I have a lot that I have to sort out financially. If there's any courts or officials that need to get in touch with me, you have to go through PayPal or you have to send the documents to the bank, attention to client pickup. Those are the only 2 ways to get in touch with me. And I've been very clear about that. So I'm not sure why I got to keep coming and being clear. But I mean, I'm homeless. How else are you going to get in touch with me? the star beings aren't going to just drop people in front of me when you're not prepared. Because my energy is not going to be wasted anymore. I will be respected. I'm claiming it for myself, and therefore then I'm showing you how to claim it for you. Stand tall, hold thyself high, because God does. Stand tall and know that you are loved, because God does and you are. And in that, dear lighted ones, we love you. We love you, we love you, we love you. Welcome to New Earth Star, dear lighted ones. Namaste. Bye.